Welcome to the Solstice and the Capricorn full moon. Like all of the energies that we have been experiencing lately, it's gonna be intense, but it's all happening for a reason. So maybe we can, find ourselves some center within this chaos and understand how we can build and move forward. Thanks for coming back to my channel. I'm Dae. Let's talk about these astrological energies and see how maybe we can not go crazy this summer. Okay. So let's start with just a little bit of a sound clearing, okay? These pop songs that we hear, the TikTok trends, the trending audios where we listen to the same part of a song over and over again, that gets into our mind. That becomes a beat that influences us. And when we can work with sound to set intentions for what we actually want to feel rather than, anxiety or feeling like we need to constantly keep up, we can really take back that power. Personally, I find that these songs get stuck in my head over and over again, and I keep singing them, and they give me migraines. They make my migraines so much worse. So now that we have really set a new energetic field for ourselves, let's talk about this full moon. So we have just entered into Cancer season, and we have 2 full moons in Capricorn bookending this season. This is going to ask us to reevaluate so many areas in the way that we build in our lives. So in our astrological chart, the sign of Cancer rules the roots, the 4th house. It is our home life, but also where we find comfort so that we may grow, to the 10th house, which is ruled by Capricorn. You might also hear this called the MC or the midheaven. The midheaven is the very top of your birth chart. It is where you are going. It is where you can see yourself excel the most in the outside world. Well, if we look at our world, our society today, and the way that we define Capricorn is honestly not really the essence of this energy whatsoever. So yes, Capricorn, you can call Capricorn the GOAT, greatest of all time, knows how to build, knows how to move forward. But in this distorted patriarchal society, Capricorn energy is said, work hard. You just got to keep working harder. You got to keep pushing forward. You can never take a break. You can never stop hustling, and you always have to keep going. That is so unhealthy, and that is completely looking past all of the magic that Capricorn really has to offer. So actually, the mythical creature of Capricorn is a freaking sea goat. Has a tail, like a fish. Like it's the animal version of a mermaid, which is a mythological, mystical, magical creature. Not this hard-working, overburdened animal of labor that we have created it to be, and that we sort of look up to as a way to be successful. That is not successful. That is working yourself into the ground. Capricorn is the cardinal earth sign. So that is the generator energy of earth. What can be created from nothing. When you look at the cardinal earth, that is like the dirt in the ground. The fact that the dirt can always grow and shift and form. So the sea goat sees the mountain, sees that it wants to ascend to the top of this mountain, but is in the water with a tail. So actually knows how to transform itself so that it can thrive in the environment it is in and in the environment that it wishes to go to. it is not only about adapting to an unhealthy environment, because we can see that most of our issues that we all have is because we did adapt to this unhealthy environment. But we can actually always transform ourselves. So we can teach ourselves how to adapt to the environment that we know we are going to most thrive in. So you may feel like this whole world has been created for you to step into it, but physically or emotionally, there's something subconscious where you might not feel like you can really adapt and step into that environment because you've spent so long trying to create yourself to be something that is so unhealthy because we've had to adapt to this unhealthy society. Their Noodle had to come say hello. Come here, Noodle. You want to say hello? A little blessing for my kitty. There you go, babe. So, when we want to build a life that is different than what we've been told is possible for us, there are parts of ourselves that still don't know if we can even be in that world, if we can even experience these good things. Because we're so used to the malformed coping mechanisms, to the way that we have actually adapted our body, adapted our mind, our consciousness to this unhealthy world. Well, what is happening right now is a crash course in how we can reform those structures so that when we build, this comes from a different place. So again, Capricorn is the top of the mountain. You cannot get to the top of the mountain if you don't have safety in your roots, if you don't understand your roots and really reform them so that we can grow, so that we don't grow in these maladaptive ways. I saw something today and they were talking about how basically the problem with our society all stems back to this unhealed childhood trauma and how it gets perpetuated. And then you see all these people going out in the world in fear and trying to take from one another. And then that's when you see all of this, frankly, shit show that is around us. What's happening with the greater shift into the Age of Aquarius is that we are learning to see a more connected consciousness. And when we can go about this in a healthy way, where we allow us all to rise, where we don't put our hands on another person's head to lift ourselves up. Because every action like that, when you hurt someone in order to get yourself ahead, that is building a big loop of karma that you will never get through until you actually have to relive all those experiences. That's the cycle 8. The 8 number is coming up a lot this year because it really is, you reap what you sow. And a lot of what has happened on this earth is that we are seeing karma has been diverted. We are seeing so many people who are born into suffering who did not create the karma to have the suffering that they do now. And we see all these people who have just created all of these horrors and they've diverted all of the karma so that they don't have to experience it. So that's why you're seeing the same people holding the control for so long. But the North and South Pole are switching, the energetics are switching, Pluto is moving into Aquarius, and basically everyone who's been running from their bad karma, it's catching up to them. Anyone who has been held down by energies that we're not supposed to stop them from actually living an enjoyable life. That is breaking free. That is coming undone. The planet Pluto, which is all about control. It is the darkness that we don't see, but it's the control, so that there are only some who can access the shadows. Well, that's getting blown up too, okay? So Pluto has been in this transit of dipping into Aquarius, going retrograde back into Capricorn over and over and over again for the past couple years. And in the fall of this year, we will finally have Pluto station into Aquarius and move forward and get out of Capricorn for good. Personally, this transit has been like torture for me because it's been right on my first house, right over my Saturn, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth over my Saturn, which is at 1 degree Aquarius. And it has felt excruciating for me. But what I'm learning about it is that it's restructuring the crap that I was born into and the psychological conditioning of my childhood trauma. It is blasting that all away. So look to see wherever that cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius is in your astrological chart, and you will really get to see what areas of your life you feel like it's restructuring. Now, this can feel really uncomfortable because we have been taught that these structures of Capricorn are the most important things in the world, and that if we don't hold on to them with every fiber of our being, then we will be lost. Well, what if I told you that those structures are actually the walls that are around you, imprisoning you? So this month now, until we have this second Capricorn full moon, let's redefine what these energies actually mean to us. Let's build it right, and let's do it from our integrity. Let's do it knowing that energetically we must be accountable for everything. This is going to feel like a very intense time, as really this whole year, the past couple years, this whole year that we're moving forward into, these are intense astrological epoch shifts. These are things that have caused great cataclysmic events, but they don't need to. They can be the emergence of the new structures. Yes, the old structures need to fall so that the new ones can emerge, but it does not have to be so destructive or catastrophic, because we have learned. We have learned from the past, and we are smart enough to understand how to build moving forward. All of this is determined by our own capacity to look at our shadows, by our own capacity to really reevaluate where we have built our beliefs about ourselves and how that moves us forward into our lives. Everything is working out more perfectly than we can imagine, but it is not our job to see it perfectly. So Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is in the sign of Pisces, as well as Neptune. This gives us a really big chance to draw in these large esoteric energies and utilize them for our own lives. But it requires some faith, because Saturn in Pisces means that we cannot fully see everything that is being created. We can feel it. We can feel if it's right. There might be, yes, some discomfort and some annoyance about needing to be patient, or, you know, just like the daily crap that keeps coming up. But if you can feel that, you know, somewhere in your core, you know that you're on the right path, even if it looks crazy to other people, especially if it looks crazy to other people, specifically the people who are living lives that are not in alignment with the life that you want to live, then that's probably a good indication that you are on the right track. So let's get a card from the Sacred Traveler Oracle before we close this out, because we really are sacred travelers. Wondrous universe, walk in beauty. Trying this cinematic lens. Journey by moonlight, believe in magic. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, so expect the wondrous to emerge, miracles, staying focused, hold the course. Really, we are supposed to believe in the miracles that can occur. I gotta tell you, hun, if you keep sitting there talking about how miracles don't happen, how good things don't happen to you, that's what you're going to create. Miracles do happen. Miracles happen for the people who are open to experiencing them. And it's hard to hear when you have been taught that it's evil to even think good things about yourself, or think that good things can happen to you, or all of these things. But you have to see that that is the biggest trap of all. This does not mean invalidating our very real experiences where we do not feel good, where things disappoint us. But rejection is divine protection. A lot of the times we think we want things that end up being really harmful for us. So if you have this mindset where you're so determined that it has to be the thing, and you're gonna make sure that it happens no matter what, then you get into it and it's like, oh my God, there's all these like undersided things that I didn't see. There's like a whole shadow underneath this. There's all this crap I was not expecting, because we did not see the full picture. We just saw what we decided we wanted, and we said, I'm gonna move forward, I'm gonna push, I'm gonna make it happen no matter what. Well, if you go about this in a different way, where you say, okay, I know I'm supposed to keep going forward. I know that there is these specific actions that I can do now, and I see that there is a greater picture. I don't know exactly what that picture is, but I trust that what's going to come to me is going to be good because I'm going to work on believing that things can be good. I'm going to actually put in the work to change my inner beliefs. And that is the hardest thing we can do, but to be honest, it's the most worthwhile thing. It's the most productive thing that we can do. Expect the wondrous to emerge. Expect miracles. Expect this life to restructure itself for your greatest enjoyment. And plant the seeds of this good energy in your mind. Bring this with you wherever you go, and know that you can always hold the imprint of the energy you want to be in. Thanks so much for being here. If you have any questions, click the link below or email me.